Hello, hello. Let me just send this email. Okay, awesome. Email scheduled. So you guys should know when I am live. Let me just give you guys a few minutes to jump in and let me make sure that this studio is up to date. So can I do this? Oh, I like this. Let me know if you guys are hearing this music. Hey y'all, welcome in. Welcome you guys. Let me know if you're hearing this music. Okay, I like this. Welcome. Hey you guys. Let me know where you are tuning in from. If you guys are in the room, let me know where you're chiming in from. Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday today. Hello. I'm just gonna wait a minute for you guys to chime in, to jump in the room, and then we will start. Sounds good. Okay. Lorna says it sounds good. Oh. Can you hear the music or you can hear me? Lorna is joining in from Atlanta in the building. I always have a lot of Atlanta people whether I'm doing like a webinar or anything. And how to take this? Let me hide that for a second. Okay. Both. Okay, great. All right, y'all. You may hear vehicles occasionally. I am like in the jungle in Costa Rica. It is pretty quiet, but it sounds like they're some kind of building or construction or something close by, or fixing something, welding. I mean, you may hear some vehicle passing occasionally. So I apologize about the feedback, if there's any feedback. Okay. All right. Well, welcome, beautiful people. I am 𝐒𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐈, also known as 𝐒𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐈 Shanice Bryant. Let me take this off. And I'm super excited about today's live, you guys. I'm super excited because this has been on my heart for some time to share, right? We're going to talk about the hustle culture, right? And don't worry, we're going to get into it, right? I'm not necessarily saying quit your job right now, or quit whatever it is that you're doing right now, right? We're going to get into that, because I'm sure you guys are thinking, okay, if I don't work, how do I eat? Okay, we're going to get into that. We're going to cover that. I'm going to share with you guys why I decided to quit my dream job. I'm looking here at the screen, but I'm also looking at the camera. So I guess I'll just look at the screen so that I can see your comments when they come in. I'm going to be sharing with you why I decided to quit my dream job. Basically, I quit my dream job in order to pursue or to live my dream life. So we're going to get into that. I'm going to also share with you how to know. I'm going to give you about 5 ways or so to know how to know if you are ready to quit your job. Okay. And we're going to talk about ways that you can just basically live an intentional life, right? Not always hustling. Okay. So if this sounds like what you're looking for, if you have been trying to figure out how to, or whether or not you should, quit your job, or, quit the hustle, how to do that, then this live is for you, or maybe for you. Okay. So welcome in. All right. So again, I am Shanice Bryant, also known as 𝐒𝐈𝐃𝐄𝐈. I am a business coach and a business funding expert. And I help entrepreneurs better position their business for funding, and I also help entrepreneurs, particularly, I find myself working a lot more with women because I can relate more, but I have worked with men as well. For some reason, even though sometimes I'll say, hey, this program is, for a woman, I do find myself working really well with men as well. But I also help entrepreneurs strategize of how to grow a successful business, implement systems, strategies, and all of that. So we may get into a little bit of that today. It is 9:30, and I'll see if I can be on here for like an hour. That would be ideal because I really want to share. I love sharing, you guys, but lately I just have not really been in the make a lot of video mood, right? I haven't been in that mindset. I've been trying to be more present and all of that and not overthink and worry about, oh, I have to do 2 videos this week, or we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Okay. So hello, and welcome. All right. Let's get into it. So when we talk about, and by the way, you guys, feel free to chime in. Okay. If you have thoughts or questions or anything like that, as we're speaking, as I'm live, feel free to chime in. I was supposed to try to go live on Facebook as well, but that's fine. Feel free to chime in, okay? Okay. Now, when we talk about quitting, or quitting your job or quitting the hustle culture, I'm not saying that you should completely quit everything, right? What I'm getting to is designing a life that allows you optimal rest, right? We can't be hustling all the time. All right? And even if you are in a hustle season right now, there should be purpose. There should be intentionality behind it, right? Ask yourself these questions. What outcome am I trying to achieve here? Okay. And what time frame am I trying to, or I'm hoping to achieve this thing? You have to have purpose and intentionality behind it, because otherwise you're just going to find yourself constantly on the go, hustling. And sometimes, a lot of times, I've seen it. I've been there, done that, you guys. I'm not just saying it to say it, but I also see it because I, listen to people all the time. I have friends, there's the internet, right? And people say all the time that, I'm constantly hustling, doing this, working 2 jobs, working 3 jobs, and don't have anything to show for it. Guys, that is so huge. That is a huge thing, and that is real, okay? So if you find yourself in that season of your life where you're just constantly hustling, and you have nothing to show for it, you may need to take a step back, and figure out, why am I always hustling, but I don't have anything to show for it? But I'm going to share with you, just stick with me, because I'm going to share with you how you can possibly design a life to where you're not always like in this grinding, and if you're a female, you're not in this masculine mode all the time, and how, to like recharge and thrive in your femininity, right? And rest, because rest is so important. Sometimes we think that resting is being unproductive, right? But in actuality, resting, right, is a form of productivity, because once you rest, you are now recharged, you are now more creative, right? And all of that, okay? So resting is a form of productivity. All right. So I'm super excited to get into that. Now, let me see here if I can share this, or probably not. Okay, let's do that. The other day, right, yesterday, I was in, where was I? I went to this restaurant here in Costa Rica. If you're just joining, I'm currently in Costa Rica, and, I just decided to take a a little break. And also I'm here to do a podcast episode. Y'all, it's crazy. I'm going to share that with you in a bit, how prayer and manifestation works. It's really crazy. But we'll talk about that in a bit. I had reached out to a guest, right, to be on my podcast, and I knew that she traveled a lot, and so I wasn't sure. I was thinking more than likely the episode would be virtual, right? That's how I've been doing a lot of my podcast episodes. And so, long story short, she was like, hey, I'd love to host you down here in, Costa Rica, and everything just aligned. Okay, more on that later and how things worked out. But where was I? I get sidetracked a lot. So yesterday I was in this restaurant with my family, and I am very observant, right? I'm very aware of my environment. I notice things. And so one of the things that I noticed was that people, okay, Christina said something. Christina said, this conversation is the topic of the season right now. I believe it. I believe it. There's just something in the atmosphere. It's just something. We'll get to that, right? But there is something in the atmosphere, y'all, and people are picking up on it. Hey, Kristen, thanks for joining in. Kristen. Okay, so I don't want to get sidetracked. So I was in a restaurant yesterday with my family, and I noticed that there were, this guy was sitting down. Well, first, when we went there, we noticed two ladies, she was in like shorts and I guess a bikini top. And we weren't necessarily on the beach, or maybe like, I don't know, maybe a 5-minute drive from the beach or something. And, just two friends look like, or maybe they're related, I don't know. But they were just chit-chatting, eating and everything, and, taking things slow. And then they walked out and left. I guess they looked like friends to me. And then I noticed another set. So this guy was sitting there waiting, and then another guy just casually came in and joined him for, I guess, lunch. And then they just went their separate ways. He was like, all right, ciao, see you later. And I noticed that, right? What I noticed about that was how chill everybody was. Like, the vibe is just so relaxing, and people actually just meet up for lunch, right? Locals they just meet up for lunch. It's just a thing. We had lunch, see you later. And they're back to whatever, maybe work or business or whatever it is that they do. But I truly appreciate the culture here, and the culture in different parts of the world too, right? So if you follow me, or if you know my backstory and everything, I travel a lot, y'all. I've been across several continents, been to countless cities across the United States, and internationally. I've been to dozens of countries, right? I travel a lot, or at least have traveled a lot. And I love the calmness in certain countries. It's just, people are just so relaxed, and they're not always hustling. Like, people actually have time to sit, like they may be passing their neighbors, and it's not just, hey, bye, like in America, or a lot of the Western, world, right? Western countries, it's just really quick and fast. Like, people don't really take the time to really see or, have conversation with people and really see how people are doing. How are you really doing? How's your son? Just in passing, right? And knowing your neighbor. Like, in America, it's not really a thing to really know your neighbor like that. Like, I was born and raised in Jamaica, okay? Let me put that out there. I was born and raised in Jamaica. So I am somewhat used to that slower paced lifestyle where maybe if you run out of sugar or something, you can go knock on your neighbor's door, and it's not a huge deal. It's not a thing. In America here, it's weird. Okay, people look at you like, why are you asking me for sugar? You know what I mean? But in different parts of the world, it's a thing, you know, people help you raise your children. And that's another thing that I want to get into. I hope I'm not making too much feedback here, but that's another thing I want to get into, because, you know the saying, it takes a village to raise a child, but in actuality, it takes a village to support a mom or to support a parent, right? It really truly does. But, you know, we'll get into that. And so, and if you're just joining, I'm not saying right now to quit your job. I'm also going to get into that too. I'm going to talk about I'm going to give you 5 ways to know right now, to know how, to know whether or not you may be ready to quit your job, okay? To quit that hustle, to quit that 9 to 5. And I may throw in there, share with you strategies of how you can design a life to where you're not hustling all the time. Because the truth is, you can actually make income. I'm so passionate about this, you guys, because quitting my job literally saved my life. Not saved my life. Why did I say that? Maybe it did. Maybe I said that because in actuality, maybe it would have saved my life. But that's not what I meant to say. I meant to say quitting my job changed my life. But let me tell you why it may have saved my life, though, because there are a lot of times I was flying where I felt so sad and depressed and lonely. And there's a misconception that flight attendants, for those of you who don't know, my last career was a flight attendant. I started out when I came here at 18, I was doing fast food places. And then my real job, I consider it a real job, was in the financial field. I did financial services, stuff like that. And then after that, I was like, I want to do something else. And then decided to become a flight attendant. It was great, right? Traveling all over the place and all that. It was great. I liked it. I enjoyed it. And let's not say and there were a lot of things about the job that, we don't really talk about. People don't really talk about. Flight attendants don't really talk about. And unless you have a friend or a friend of a friend, or unless you have a spouse or somebody who is in the aviation industry, then you will know, okay? Because there are also a lot of unfair things that goes on. And I consider it a golden handcuff type of job. And if you know, you know, or if you've been in any career field that seemed like it's glamorous or it's the most amazing thing, but there were a lot of gray areas, there are a lot of things with it that made you feel like, or there are a lot of good things about the job that made it hard for you. What in the world? The jungle of Costa Rica, y'all. But there may be a lot of things that you liked about the job that makes it hard for you to let it go. So I consider myself a golden handcuff kind of job, because it took me a year. I thought about quitting for an entire year. And there were a lot of times where I was depressed, y'all. I would be in my hotel room, alone. Not saying that with this type of job, you can't leave your hotel room and do whatever you want. When you're on your layover, you can do whatever you want. Nobody really cares, as long as you make it back to your report, and all of that stuff. But there are some times where it may be late, and nobody's going out, things are closed. And I remember one day I was in my hotel room crying. I was devastated, you guys. I was breaking down. I was so sad. At this time, I was married at this point. This was maybe 22 or 2021. I can't remember. Or 2020. I don't know. But I was really sad. And believe it or not, there's a lot of people who commit, the S word. I don't want to say that, and I don't know. I don't want to get, blocked or whatever. But there are also a lot of flight attendants who do, sadly. I'm not here to say that I was, I was feeling that way. To that point, I was just letting you guys know how sad, I was. And it was a lot. I won't go too much into it. I did a video where I talked about, why I quit my job. But honestly, I feel like the first video that I did, I think I did 2 at this point, 1 recently, but the first video that I did, I don't think that I was fully transparent enough with you guys. I don't believe that I was fully open and honest. I think I was mostly talking about how great the job was and all of that stuff, but I wasn't really fully transparent as to why I really did. But I was feeling that way, and I think eventually it was due to the constant hustle, the constant grind. And let me tell you, when I first started to do that job, I feel like I was spending so much money. I was like, okay, I'm making decent money because the airline that I work for, I worked for Delta. Some of you guys know this since I'm no longer working there, but I worked with Delta and the pay, pretty decent. But on my layovers and stuff, I was spending money like in the airport. I was spending money here on my layovers, trying to do something. So and then I was driving far. So it's like, when I looked at my pay, I was like, oh my goodness, it's gone already, And so that's my story, you guys. That's my story. And I'm trying to remember how I got here, how I got here. But that was one of the reasons why I decided to quit my dream job in order to live my dream life. And when I say live my dream life, I'm talking about a life that I can do things on my own terms and, timing. I had some flexibility with my job. Yes, I may have been gone for 3 days or 2 days and then been back for a couple of days, and sometimes it was nice to be able to do things or go places like in the middle of the week, while everybody is doing it on like a Saturday or a Sunday, right? Because most of the time I was working on the weekends. That's the thing too. I was missing out on a lot. So I was missing out on family stuff, friend stuff. Don't invite me anywhere. Please don't invite me anywhere because I'm not going to make it anyway. I'm just not. So if you're having a party or whatever it is on the weekend, especially when I was newer or whichever, I'm not going to make it because I'm going to have to be flying. It was really hard to get off on like the weekends until you become like really senior, in the job. You've been there years upon years. And so, so people actually stopped inviting me to things. And that kind of hurt. I'm not even going to lie. That really hurt. Like, I felt like I was so disconnected. Yes, I was traveling and doing this and, meeting people here and there, but it wasn't like lasting connections. And so I felt disconnected to life, to people, because I just couldn't really, somebody says, okay, let's see what Christine says. Somebody says, I find the rest is not just for restoration, but also much needed healing. Thank you for this. Right. Healing. Oh my gosh. Yes. Healing, you guys. Rest is needed. Like, when we're constantly on the go, you're disconnected as well. You're disconnected from reality, from what's actually truly going on with you. So if you have an issue, right, you don't really know. You don't really realize it. All you know is that you feel depressed or you feel sad or whichever, but you're not able to do the real work, because you don't even know really what's going on because you're so busy. You're so busy hustling, being here, there, everywhere, that you don't even know what's going on with you, and you haven't even paused to take the time to take care of you, right, and deal with the issue. When you can pause and rest, you have time to journal, write your feelings out, pray, meditate, like really, like be in tune with nature. Like right now, like, I don't know, it's weird. Like I feel so creative because it's kind of quiet, not that quiet here because there's some like trucks and some welding or something, but it's so peaceful and I feel so connected to nature. And there's something about being in nature. It brings out like creativity. It helps you heal. Like I'm telling y'all, if you are able to step away, for a bit, for a season, for a little while, and just get away for a little bit. I'm telling you, you guys, it will change your life. I promise you. And we're going to talk a little bit about how you can possibly do that, how you can possibly, get away for a little bit, regardless of the type of job you have, or regardless of the job, or regardless of if you feel like you have to work, because if you don't work, you don't eat. We're going to talk about that. Okay. We're also going to talk about, again, the 5 ways to know if you are ready to quit your job. Okay. So I talked about why I quit my dream job. Okay. I quit my dream job to live my dream life. And some people may say that makes sense. Some people may say, well, isn't the dream job supposed to give you your dream life? No. And let me tell you why. At least I can speak for myself, right? My dream job was great. But I knew it was just for a season. Okay. I thought about staying forever, to get all the flight benefits and all that forever. It sounded great, I was able to take my husband with me on layovers and all of that. It sounded great sometimes. But there are a lot of times I was just calling out because of anxiety. I was like, I don't want to deal with this today. But let me tell you why. In my case, I can't speak for everyone, but in my case, staying at my dream job would not have helped me create my, not let me live my dream life. Maybe it would help me eventually, like with an exit plan and all of that, which, I did have somewhat of an exit plan. But right now I'm a mom, right? If you guys don't know, I am a mom. And I love being a mom. I love my son dearly, okay? And I look forward to, if God's willing, possibly having more children, if it's the Lord's will. Denzel and Chanel says, hi. Hey. And I look forward to possibly having more children, if the Lord allows, okay? If the Lord allows. And the life that I want to live, not saying that in whatever career you have or being a flight attendant does not allow you to spend time with your family. All right, I'm not saying that. I know a ton of people who've been flying for decades upon decades. Believe me, okay? Flying till they're 50, 60, 70. Trust me, yes. And these people have families, right? These people have families. But the life that I wanted for myself, okay? Not speaking for anyone else, life that I wanted, or the life that I wanted to design for myself, is where I can wake up every day or whenever I choose to with my family, be able to leave to go to a country for 6 months if I wanted to, take a sabbatical for 6 months if I wanted to, at least for 30 days if I wanted to. The first time I did that was in 2022, exactly right after I quit my job, y'all. And let me tell you, that was so healing. We were talking about healing earlier, but let me tell you, going away to Indonesia, it was Bali, Southeast Asia, because we went to like Bangkok, Thailand. We went to some island in Thailand, and we were like just around Southeast Asia, and I traveled for about 45 days, right? We're in Bali, Indonesia for about 30, and then went to Bangkok, Thailand in surrounding areas for about 2 weeks or so, right? And so that was so therapeutic, you guys. I realized that I was dealing with a lot during that time, because you know why? I was able to be in nature. I wasn't hustling. I was just in tune with what was going on with me, with myself, with nature and everything. And it was so beautiful. We ended up didn't even have a service. I've been on here for 30 minutes. I'm gonna get to the point soon, okay? I'm going to get to how to know if you are ready to leave and quit your job. But you guys, bear with me, because I have things to share, and I feel like I haven't really been on here a lot. I haven't been really sharing, and I want to do more of these videos where I'm just open, transparent, with you guys, right? And so we did not even have a service because we screwed up, and we didn't get like the SIM, or our phones didn't have the dual SIM. It was crazy. So that meant unless we had Wi-Fi, like we were in the villa where we're staying at, or we were at a coffee shop or wherever that had Wi-Fi, unless we were there, then other than that, we had no like service. We couldn't receive calls, phone calls. We could not make calls. It was just WhatsApp, but again, only when we had service. So if we were on the beach or just out or getting from point A to point B, we had to be totally, completely in the moment. We had to be totally present, you guys. And at first I was a little bit mad about it because I'm like, this phone system, we're not going to get any calls. I was this, that. But let me tell you guys, it was so beautiful. I was like, I needed this. I was like, I actually needed to be disconnected from the world. I don't care who's calling, why you're calling. I'm sorry if it's not an emergency. Okay. And it felt so good to be disconnected and just be present with nature in Southeast Asia, just enjoying the culture, connecting with people, learning the local language. You know, it was amazing. Eating good food, healthy food. Oh my gosh, every time I think about it, I want to somewhat tear up because, y'all, it was the most therapeutic experience of my entire life. And right before that, I was grinding so much and I was dealing with my job and I was dealing with grieving my job, you know, because believe it or not, we don't only grieve people, but we grieve things too. And my job became a lifestyle. And so even though I decided to walk away from it because I knew it was the right thing to do, I was still grieving the job, you know, but I had to remind myself why I quit. My husband had to remind me, remember when you were feeling this way? Remember when you were looking, sometimes y'all, I look literally dead inside. When I'm done with a 3-day trip, I'm literally like dead inside. I remember one day I decided to work for 9 days straight. I don't know who, what, why. I think because I was based in New York and I was just like, I don't want to commute back to where I was living at the time. I don't remember if it was Dallas or it was South Jersey or what. And I was just like, I'm going to stay in New York for 9 days and I'm going to work my butt off. And then I'm going to, hey, I'm going to get to the comments in a second, okay? I'm going to get to your comments in a second, but I don't want to get distracted because I know myself. I struggle sometimes with ADHD. Attention, whichever. So I'm trying to focus. So I'll get to the comments in a second. Let me tell you, I don't know who told me to work 9 days. Let me tell you, I was mad. By day 5 or day 4, maybe, I was on the plane, trying to be nice. Thank God at the time I was wearing a mask because we were in right prime, like COVID, right? So maybe this was 2020 or 21. I don't remember. I was mad. Like, I was really trying to be nice. And I'm that sweet girl. I was a sweet flight attendant, just nice to people, always nice. But I'm telling you, by day 4, by 5, I was mad. And I was like, thank God for this mask because, these people are driving me crazy. Everything irritated me. Before, I had some patience, right, with people. I'm just going to brush it off. But I'm telling you, y'all, I was dead inside. I was so happy for my mask because I didn't want people to see my facial reaction or my face, you guys. I was exhausted. Anyway, I said that to say, I was, overworking. I was working also on a business launch and everything, a new program, not a business launch, but a new program and everything. And I was overworked. I was working myself out. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to quit now. I've been thinking about quitting for a year. It's been a year. Let me just put in this resignation and let it go. And I did. 2 weeks later, I was like, let's just go to, Bali, Indonesia. And I was gone. I was gone, disconnected, forget everything. And so I say that to say that sometimes you may need that. Okay. So if you're watching this live, I don't believe anything is a coincidence. I think everything happens for a reason and aligns and with energy and, frequency. I believe in God as well. And I believe that God puts things in our paths at the perfect time, the perfect moment, the perfect, opportunity. And so you may need to disconnect a little bit. You may need to disconnect. right? And so that was a very therapeutic experience. And so we may need to do that. Okay, so how it changed my life, how quitting my job changed my life. Now I'm able to, I couldn't imagine right now, especially with us, with my son. That's what I was talking about earlier. I love being able to wake up every day and, with him and put him to sleep every night. And even if I have a help, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have help or anything like that, right? Even if you decide to have help, a nanny, a sitter, whichever, at least you have that option, that choice of how frequent or whichever you want to, spend with your children. And I love this, like thinking about going away on a 3-day trip, without my son, it hurts me to the core. And again, I'm just speaking on behalf of myself, like my experiences, it's my opinion, how I feel. I can only speak for myself. And it feels good to be able to just be, right? Just be with my family, be with my husband, be with my son, and not traveling all the time, or not going away for, even if I had a 9-to-5 job, not going away Monday through Friday, spending all day out just to come back to maybe tuck him to bed and whichever, right? And sometimes we may have to do that. Sometimes the grind may be necessary. So I'm not saying that you should completely get up. Now, listen, disclaimer here. I'm not saying right now that you right now should just get up and quit your job right now. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is to have intentionality and have purpose. Okay, ask yourself, if you're just joining, why am I doing this? Why am I grinding all the time? Why am I working all the time? What do I have to show for it? And secondly, what is your exit plan? I believe that everybody should have a business. Everybody should have a business or a side hustle, like extra streams of income, because that helps you to really pay off your debt so that you don't have to hustle all the time. Okay. Once your debt is paid off, we don't have to hustle all the time because we're not paying this bill, that credit card, that credit card, that credit card. But when we have just, a set amount of predictable or whichever, bills, it allows us to have more freedom. Let me jump on here to, again, because I wasn't even paying attention to the comments. Okay, somebody says, Renee says, this is so timely. I'm tired of working at a job I know I'm supposed to leave. Wow, Renee. Yeah, this may be confirmation. Like, just you know when you know. Okay, and we're going to get into the 5 ways. I probably should get into that now because y'all, I can talk all day. I promise you. But I'm not gonna do that today. I'm not gonna do that to y'all. You will know. We're gonna get into the 5 ways that you know that you're supposed to leave your job. Okay, so rock with me for another at least 20 minutes or so. So Renee, this may be your confirmation. I'm not saying that you should, but I'm just saying this may be your confirmation. Yes, Renee says freedom. Kristen says, yes, a lot of us are past the 9 to 5. It's time to design your life. Ashai so eloquently says, oh, thank you. I'm glad that you think I said it eloquently, because y'all, sometimes I think that I'm so jumbled all over the place. It's time for us to create. Yes, Kristen says it's time for us to create. I love this so much. You guys, you can truly create. And let me tell you, there's some people who genuinely love what they do. They love their jobs, right? Love it. This is for the people who, I know you may like your job a little bit, but okay, it's time for me to go. Like, this is toxic. We're gonna get into that. But y'all, we can create a life, we can earn money without working a 9 to 5. Now, we need 9 to 5ers, right? We need the garbage collectors. We need, the nurses. We need the janitors. We need them all. I'm just saying that if you're showing up to work every day and you strongly feel in your heart that this is not for you, and you are creative, right? We all have something to share. We all have gifts and talents to share. That's why I'm saying everything should be for a season. So, that janitor, that trash collector, whosoever that, I don't know, nurse, that admin person, whosoever, right? Doesn't matter what your job is, we need those people. But let's rotate it, right? Let's rotate it. Give the opportunity to somebody else who truly in this season needs that, and move on to what you were truly meant to do. You know what I'm saying? Because let's be real. Like, if everybody today was to say, okay, let's all be entrepreneurs or whichever, like right this second, then I don't know, you may not have people to, you go to the DMV to renew your license, there's nobody there. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. But again, intentionality, the hustle should be intentional. All right. So hope you guys get that. Yes, Georgiana says, hey, Georgiana. Glad you mentioned grief. Many people think grief is only death and divorce. Yep, but we can grieve places and things, self-love. Yes. And if you guys are struggling with grief, Miss Georgiana here, actually, she is a grief recovery specialist. I'm not sure, but feel free to share that. And feel free to share your link as well, Georgiana. Feel free to share whatever link. I'm giving you that okay to do that on this live. She's a grief recovery specialist. So, she helps if you're recovering from, if you're grieving anything, right? Okay, let me try to go back to what I was saying. Okay, let's just move on, because I don't want to talk all day and not share with you the points that I'm really here to share with you guys. Okay. Yeah, Miss Georgiana, feel free to share your link or your website, how people can get in contact with you in regards to like grief. Okay. So yeah, I wanted to create a life where I can get up and go 30 days somewhere and be creative, right? And all of that. I'm a creative person. I do not like I don't like being told what to do or to be micromanaged, or I'm like, I know how to do my job. Let me do my job. And you don't have to micromanage me. Trust me, I'm going to do my job well. Okay. Anyway, 5 ways to know that you are ready to leave your 9-to-5 job right now. Okay. Number 1 is lack of passion and motivation. So if you wake up every day you are dreading going to work, right? And you find no joy or passion in your daily tasks, it might be a sign that it's time to move on. Okay. Persistent lack of motivation can lead to burnout and negatively affect your overall well-being. So if you are burnt out, you're not going to be productive. If you don't want to be at your job, you're not even going to be productive anyway. So you're doing everybody a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing your employers or your employer, whoever your boss, your team, whoever you work with, you're doing everybody a disservice because you're not motivated. So you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't show up to work. I remember I used to fly with people, and people would come in and they're just try, I'm just like, man, yeah, like, you're not supposed to. Why are you here? But you know what? Like I said, golden handcuff. Some jobs are like literally golden handcuffs. You feel like you have to be there because of whatever it is. Like, you feel like that's your only option. But I'm telling you right now, it is not. And even if you want to move up to, or just change your 9-to-5, change the scenery, at least switch the job. Like, if you have no motivation, you're not driven, you may just need to change the job. And in fact, changing the job may help you out, because you may be able to get a pay increase. Because a lot of people that stay stagnant at a job, you don't really truly see, a significant pay increase. So if you feel this way, my camera. Oh, you have sound but no camera? Oh, goodness. Okay, hold on. Let's see something. Hold on, you guys. Let me see. Oh, I don't know what happened. Let me see if I can. Well, thanks for letting me know. I don't know what's going on with my camera, y'all.